Hi everyone, I will be doing a webinar called Brand You, and I'm just going to show you my introductory slide. It is called Brand You, Convey Your Personal Brand Effectively. Just introduce myself. Sorry for starting so late, I have technical difficulty, but I'm glad you tuned in with me today. So hopefully you all can see the slides that I'm sharing. And my name is Brittany Ray Lanier. I'm a freelance publicist. I have an MS in entertainment business, and currently I'm obtaining an MA in public relations from Full Sail University. I have a lot of experience in public relations, branding, management, and the industries of lifestyle and entertainment. I have set a foundation for myself to become an entrepreneur successfully one day. My brand is basically expressed through my research, my education, my interest in entertainment and lifestyle public relations, fashion, hair, color, and makeup is what I'm all about. So we can get started with the first thing to kind of keep in mind and perspective of how to brand yourself personally. You have to define your goals and objectives. And when I say define brand goals and objectives, it basically means that you have to directly communicate, concise and clear with your goals and objectives. So what are you hoping to obtain when you're discovering or finding out how you can brand yourself? Like ultimately, what are you looking for? What is the outcome that you're looking for within the brand itself? And what does your brand consist of? Everything around it, how do you want yourself to be portrayed? What are the objectives that's going to get you there? A lot of times we need to also, which is the next thing, is research, which takes a lot of time and energy. And you need to research your competitors. Basically, who are your competitors? How do they convey their personal brand? How do you want your personal brand to be conveyed? And what market do you fit in with? So overall, you need to research your competitors. Take a look at some people that you may feel are in the same market as you. See how they brand themselves. See what differentiates themselves from everyone else. See how you can kind of take a little bit of how they do things and kind of put it into your own perspective. You need to also do a research on how people convey them. Look at their followers, look at their likes, look at their comments, and see what people say about them. You also need to take the time to think about yourself, like how are you conveyed? Are you in the same path? Are you in the same market? And you need to also do the research on what's your market niche. What market do you fit in? What market does your personal brand fit in? After you figure all that out, you go into the main point is an assessment. And everybody knows what assessment is. It's basically looking over things and finding what the gaps are between what's going on now and what you're looking for in the future. So you have to assess your personal brand. Assess your current situation. How are you currently perceived? Assess the gap between where you are and where you want to be, and what changes need to be made and why. So overall, you need to assess yourself. This is time for constructive criticism. You need to understand what you are doing right now at this moment. A lot of times we just think that everything is good and we're doing everything right, but we do need to assess ourselves. I mean, it's part of growth, and that will really help your personal brand, as well as how are we perceived at this moment. So basically, after we assess and see what type of brand that we feel like we have, we need to see how other people perceive us. How are they perceived? Um, sometimes we feel like we're doing a great job and people may not feel as such, or people may be a little confused about us at the end of the day. We also need to realize that the gap between where we are now, where we want to be. So that's important as well to figure out. Okay, this is my starting point, but when I get to the finish line, what would I want to accomplish at the finish line? Overall, when I reach the finish line, what would I want someone to say about me? How would I want my brand to be perceived? And you want to make sure you do everything possible so when you do reach that finish line, that your brand will be perceived the way you want it to be and not the way other people feel it should be. And overall, when it comes to assessments, this is when you need to figure out what you need to change. What is something that you can work on? And you have to be hard on yourself. And you can also ask people as well that's close to you, like, okay, when you see me, what do you see? When you think of me, what do you think of? And that kind of give you an idea of maybe it's some things that you might need to change and some things that you might need to, I guess, reevaluate about yourself because um, building a brand takes a while. It's not an overnight situation. It's not something that just happens, at the snap of your fingers. So when you're trying to convey your personal brand, you have to be effective and efficient, and every step you take needs to be measured very distinctively. And sometimes, we get astray of what we're trying to convey, what we're trying to let people perceive. You just always want to be clear, like I stated, have goals, have objectives, and be very concise of what you're trying to do. Lastly, the most important thing after you have found your brand is your brand management. You have to have brand management. And then brand management is securing your brand attributes and target marketing niche. Manage your social media with behavior and representation. Stay content concise across all outlets. Do not confuse your audience. So when I say that you need to secure your brand attributes and target marketing niche, it basically means you need to know what you bring to the table, what my brand brings to the table. And you need to know what market you're in, because if you don't know where you fit in at, how can you even brand yourself for that market? You have to understand where you fit in at. What is your niche? What market? With me, it's entertainment and lifestyle. And that's a very broad spectrum. But in my life, anything that's music, that's fashion, and beauty, music, fashion, and beauty, is where my brand lies across. I say lifestyle because, I'm also interested and I like to represent clients in fitness. So anything that changes your lifestyle, that's positive, anything that's entertainment is where my brand lies. It's very broad. So I have a better spectrum of a market niche to go by. I can basically be whoever I want to be and stay within those brands, but I have to make each brand relevant. So I have to stay within the culture of music, fashion, beauty, lifestyle. I have to stay within that culture of brand and how it changes. I'm not saying I got to change, and you should have to change, but just be consistent and true to yourself as it changes. Along with that, you have to make sure that you manage your social media behavior. That's very important when it comes to branding. You need to make sure that your brand is being communicated effectively. through all social media. You can't have one thing over here and something totally different on your Twitter that's different than your LinkedIn. Everything needs to be in alignment. That's the only way people can keep up with your brand and basically stay interested in you, because they know that when you do one thing on one outlet, it's going to stay the same. And also your reputation as far as how you represent yourself in public. When people meet you on a one-on-one, they want to be able to identify who you are as a brand. So that's very important as well. Just like on Snapchat now, you know, whatever you do on Snapchat, just make sure it's branding you. And, you know, you should be fine in that aspect. And don't confuse. Don't confuse your audience. Don't confuse your market. It's very easy to confuse. There's nothing wrong with letting, your target audience into your world a little bit so they know that you're human. But just be selective what you put up. With me, since I'm in the market of lifestyle industries, I can kind of put my personal life out there a little bit, like vacations, or if I'm doing fitness or whatever the case may be. It's still within that brand. So you kind of got a good one-on-one start on how to basically get started on your personal brand. Just keep in mind that always stay true to you. Have your goals, have your objectives line up. Do your research. See who else is out there in the same market that you're out there. See what they're doing. Not saying mimic anybody, but see how their brand is conveyed, because that can really help you on the path to conveying the brand that you want to convey for yourself. It gives you just a path to take. You need to also assess yourself. Do an assessment called constructive criticism, should I say. And take the time out. Ask people that's close to you. That's another good thing I will always say, that you need to ask people that's close to you, because they will not tell you what you want to hear if they're your real friends. And you also need to do a creative plan. And that's one thing that I missed, but I'm remembering that you need to do a game plan, a creative plan. And in your creative plan, you need to basically brand every aspect within you. So every aspect that you have within you is something that you need to basically brand. So a brand is just not, your name. It's the way you look, the way you dress, the way your hair is, the kind of clothes you wear, the kind of music you listen to, your friends, the events you attend, the clients you have, which is very important, because if you're a publicist like I am, your clients have to reflect your brand. You don't want to diminish your brand with certain clients, and you don't want to stray away from certain clients that define the brand of who you are, and basically defining the company that's underneath who you are. So come up with a game plan to creatively brand yourself in all that you do. Like I said, it's just not your name. It's everything that comes with you being you. So now that you have a few things, I hope I was clear enough to kind of give you some insight on how to brand yourself. I'm still working on it as we speak, but I just want you to basically take some things into perspective. And I just want to thank you for listening to me live. Now go brand yourself. You can follow me on IG and Twitter at I am Brittany Ray, was I am _Brittany Ray, and Facebook at Brittany Lanier. I really enjoyed you all for spending this time with me. Once again, I apologize for the delay. I'm still learning, but I just thank you all, and hopefully I get to do one of these again. I really appreciate your time. I hope it was meaningful. I hope you found everything I said useful and enlightening, and I hope you use it and apply it, and maybe one day you could do a webinar on branding as well. So I thank you, and hopefully we'll see each other again.